We're making a luscious pot de creme today, butterscotch flavored. This is gonna cure my sweet tooth without going overboard with a huge amount of sweets. It's so good, you've gotta try it, and it's really easy to make, so let's get into this. Pot de creme simply translates to pot of custard. Oh my god, like you have to make it, you just have to. Time for the prep work. We're gonna split this vanilla bean in half and scrape out the seeds and put those aside for later. I'll give you some ideas in another video of what to do with that pod so you don't waste it. Vanilla beans are $11, so you can use vanilla extract if you choose, or vanilla paste, whichever is in your budget. Separate 8 eggs, and we're gonna use the yolks today. I'm gonna have to come up with something I'm gonna make with the egg whites. I don't let those go to waste. Usually they will last in your fridge for a few days until you decide what you want to do with them. Heat your saucepan to medium heat and put your butter in to melt. And we're gonna add some brown sugar. I'm using dark, you can use light, either one works. And we're just going to stir this until the sugar dissolves into the butter and kind of goes through some phases. And at certain points you're going to feel like you're doing something wrong, because it goes through these phases where it blends together nicely, then it seizes up and gets tight, and you're going to be okay. Just follow my directions below and you'll be fine. This has been cooking for about a minute or two, and it's come together really nicely, and the sugar has dissolved, and I'm just keeping it moving so it doesn't stick to the pan or start burning. It will start smoking at some point. Don't worry, that will go away, and that's okay because it gives it that really deep, rich flavor, the butterscotch flavor we're looking for. This is also a really great time to employ a family member, a spouse, a kid. Let them stir it, as long as they're old enough, of course. And here a few more minutes has passed and we're hitting that smoking point. It's all good. The sugar and the butter are kind of separating and you feel like you're just messing it all up, but just keep it moving. That's the trick here. You're going to be standing over this pot for probably 10 minutes. And a few more minutes has passed. It's come back together. It's not separated anymore, and it will start sticking to the sides of the pan. Try to push it down. Don't worry about it too much, but do try. Some more time has passed, and now it is sticking together like wet sand. So it's time to move on in our process. We're going to pour 1 cup of cream in here to start with, and really incorporate that the best we can. It's a little tricky and you feel like it's not going to come together, but it will. Just be diligent and know that this is all going to work out. I'm using a wooden spoon because if I use a wire whisk right now, it is going to get stuck. The sugar is going to stick in the wire whisk and we don't want that. So I have still got my heat on medium, and I'm just going to start working this sugar into this cream mixture. And we're doing this 1 cup at a time so that I can incorporate it and it will be easier. If I poured all the cream in right now, it would just be a mess to deal with. You see how it's sticking on the bottom there? I'm just working it off and it's all gonna melt together and look beautiful. And here it is darkening and looking delicious. It's bubbling a little, so I turn the heat down slightly because you really don't want to boil this mixture. This is all about a simmer on the medium heat. So just keep working. This is the toughest part of it. It's not difficult, it's just aggravating, but it'll be done soon, I assure you. Now I switch to a wire whisk because I want to really get in there with it now. There's nothing that's going to stick to the wire whisk like before. It's going to work out better this way. You do not have to stress out about this dissolving completely. If there are pieces of brown sugar in there, it's not going to be in our custard in the end. We will be straining this. Okay, now that that part's over, we can add the rest of the cream. It's such a relief when we're done doing all that major stirring. This part, it's a breeze now. It's all downhill. So just keep whisking it in. I go kind of slow just to give it a nice creamy texture. Okay, add your vanilla seeds or your extract or paste, whichever you chose to use. And man, I'm not wasting any of this because I paid a lot for that vanilla bean. I'm gonna use it. Add some salt and blend it up really good, really good. Time to take your custard off of the heat. Whisk up your egg yolks. You're going to temper your eggs. This means adding the heated custard in slowly so that you don't end up with scrambled eggs and cooked eggs. You're very slowly stirring this in constantly, spoon at a time, and it's going to warm up those egg yolks so that we can add it into the custard without it being clumpy. Nobody wants a lumpy, clumpy custard. We'll just speed up the video here. You see what I'm doing. You just want to do this until your egg yolks are completely warmed through. Okay, the egg yolks are fully tempered, so we're just going to add that into the custard. I'm going to scrape all of it in there and stir it up really well. Okay, I have a strainer over a glass bowl and I am just pouring this in here, and you are going to see all the nasty pieces of the egg that got left behind, and this is why we strain it. We do not want that in our custard. How gross. I'm using 2 different sizes for my custard dishes, therefore I'm baking them in separate pans so that I can pull them out when they're done without pulling some out that maybe aren't cooked all the way through. I've got dishcloths on the bottom, and you'll see why in a minute, so I'm going to go ahead and fill these up. I poured my custard into a smaller little measuring cup so that I can pour them nicely in here. These really don't raise a whole lot, so you can go pretty far up to the top. Okay, we're going to put almost boiling water halfway up the custard cups. The cloth is in there to keep the custard cups in place so they don't slide around. You can do this part when your pans are in the oven. It's much safer that way. I'm doing mine on the counter just to film it for you, but be very careful if you do it this way when you're moving it to your oven. I don't want you to burn yourself, but just make sure it's almost boiling. Don't use complete boiling water. And this recipe actually made 3 more of these ramekins full of custard, so it does make quite a bit. You could cut the recipe in half if you don't need so many. Very loosely cover these pans with foil. You don't need to make this tight. It's better if you don't actually, because water droplets will fall onto the custard. And it's okay if that happens. It's just I try to not, make it happen too much. So you want some of the steam to be released. These go into an oven that's been preheated to 350 degrees, and there's a lot of variance in the cooking time, so definitely follow the instructions below on checking. These are now completed, and they should jiggle just slightly, kind of like a jello. So just test them, and if that's what you see, they're done. And you're going to let these cool on the counter for about an hour in the water bath. Now the others that just came out have some places where water droplets fell on them. It's okay because you're not going to see those when I'm finished. But it just kind of left a little bit of a foam spot. It's not a big deal. It's just not as pleasing to the eye, but we're going to take care of that. So they've cooled now, and I'm just taking them out of the water bath, and I'm going to put them back in the emptied pan because we are going to stick those to cool in the refrigerator. Leave these to chill for a minimum of 2 hours. I mean, honestly, you can eat them warm, it's no big deal, but they're best cold. So typically you top this with creme fraiche, which is a French table cream. I had Mexican table cream, so that's what I'm using. It's very similar, and I just swirl it around to cover the entire top, and this is why the water droplet marks really don't matter that much. And I just put a little bit just to give it a nice finishing touch, and it gives it even an extra boost of creaminess. Not that it needs it because it's already so creamy, but remember, this is all about indulgence. Let's try it. It's so good, I can tell you already because I licked the bowl. There's a reason I make these tiny little ramekins when I make this. This keeps me accountable. It's so tasty, and I don't know how many calories are in it. I don't know how fattening it is, and I don't want to know because this is about indulgence. Really, the first bite, all you can see is the cream, but the pudding's under there, the custard, the pudding, whatever. It's custard. Oh my god. Oh my god. Like, you have to make it. You just have to. Let's see if I can get a bite where you can see the beautiful, beautiful butterscotch. Oh, you guys. Oh my god. Ah. Oh, it's like heaven. Yum. Thank you for watching. Please make this. It's not difficult, it just is a little time consuming, and it's so, so worth it.